Morning, folks. I do apologize, I won't be tapping. I'll give you that. Uh, Best I can do. Um, uh, I already tried recording the beginning of this a couple of times. It's one of those days where I'm just having a hell of a time getting focused. Uh, as you can see, um, the weather's not the best, and generally I find that I'm much more affected by weather than I expected to be. Uh, Arthritis and migraines are wonderful things in some cases. Um, and of course, because it's Wednesday morning, I picked the perfect time to start a video when you could hear the garbage truck. Oh well. Um, so I don't really have much of a topic for this. Uh, One of my Discord friends uh, was just a touch. There we go. One of my Discord friends was bringing up the topic of superhero fatigue, and since I'm planning to do a live stream in the shed, doing some woodworking later today, I'll talk about that during my breaks, because at this early hour I can't put together a cogent thought about or a cogent response to him. So yeah, that will be sometime this afternoon. Um, this morning I may end up with some bad news. A commission that I was looking at doing for a friend may very well be falling apart because I might not be able to acquire materials for a reasonable cost. And anyone who does any sort of creation, making, you know that material costs get factored into the final product. And as much as I would like to be able to do a project for him, mostly because it would give me something to do and it would allow me to actually make some money out of the skills I spent a lot of money to acquire, or at least to be certified with. At the moment, it looks like I may not be able to actually take on that commission because the materials, the quality materials that I'm looking for might not be available. Not for a reasonable cost, anyway. That's extremely disheartening, but I'm hoping that the final option that I have to talk to may actually work out. If not, instead of doing a video making that replica commission, I will be, if you can see it right here behind me, that, I'll turn my hand over, there we go, okay, that table right there, that's a table that I scavenged that I will be turning into a one-piece table. It was a three-piece, including the leaf for the surface. I'll be turning that into a single solid table. The legs are actually sitting there on it as well. If I can reach the sweater, I can show you the legs. There you go. The hope right now is that this final, this final supplies option will pan out at a reasonable price, and I will be able to acquire the material I'm looking for. For the record, the material I'm looking for is called Baltic birch plywood. It's still plywood, yes, and I do prefer to work in solid wood. However, for something that's going to be, and that really needs to be both light and dimensionally stable, a piece of plywood, especially the Baltic birch because it has that wonderful striation in it, would be ideal. Unfortunately, Baltic birch is one of those products that's currently difficult to acquire because of the conflict in Russia, Ukraine, rather, which is bullshit. It's simply not being sold because people perceive it as a Russian product. It's not. It's made everywhere. It's just called Baltic birch because it's made of birch and it's made in a specific English. Such a hard language. And it's my first. It's made in such a specific fashion that I believe that's where the term Baltic birch comes from. It's made in a Baltic style. It's not made from birch from the Balkans or the Baltic Sea. It's simply a particular style of plywood construction. It's exceptionally dimensionally stable, very light because it's made of birch. Unfortunately, as with Russian dressing, salad dressing, which for the record is ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together, that's also impossible to find in stores right now. Yeah, and I certainly don't want to use particle core, because A, that would be far heavier, and B, far harder to work with the tools that I have. The options I have available to me, they're not the highest quality. You have to realize that stores in my area generally only carry construction grade material. I was lucky enough to find some better than construction grade material a while back to make a project for a neighbor. But that was prior to the massive rise in lumber costs and the Ukraine conflict and its commensurate bullshit. I don't know how many of you guys are old enough to remember when the planned or the U.S. was attempting to draw up support for the Iraqi invasion, but when I believe it was France and a few other countries declined the offer and basically refused to go to war for what they saw as no good reason. This was prior to the weapons of mass destruction discovery. The backlash against that was extreme and hilarious. I remember hearing a story that either the White House or Congress, I believe it was Congress's cafeteria had taken the step of renaming French fries to Freedom Fries, ignoring the fact that French fries are in fact Belgian in origin, and ignoring the fact of how stupid and asinine a move that is. It would be akin to banning fortune cookies because you have a problem with China. Fortune cookies are an American invention. Let's see, what else is going on? I am talking to one of my friends about possibly making a whistle. I wouldn't mind actually trying my hand at making a few musical instruments. One of the projects I was going to attempt that time constraints simply prevented when I was taking my woodworking course was a bass guitar. Not an acoustic, but an electric one. I actually have an interest in trying to learn how to play guitar. I've tried 6-string. These are good for woodworking, not so good for bending around a fret, or a fretboard. So electric guitar 6-string was straight out, did not work. But I could, even now, I could probably build a bass guitar. I'm in a bit of a crude shop, so I don't think the quality would be where I'd want it. But other than that little bit of bad news, what I'm hoping is, well, I'll be working on the candle holder that I was working on the other day. That's still sitting on the bench right there. Wow, everything washes out so badly. Right here. That will be the stream project for the day. And I should, I think, finish that up today. Don't mind the mess on the bench. When I'm in the middle of a project, I don't put my tools away. And plus, I've picked up a few other things and got a few other nitpicky things to deal with. The battery-powered saw that you saw at the end of the bench appears to work, but the batteries appear to be very, very old and potentially past their usability life. Other than that, I don't have a lot of news. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Donate if you feel up to it, if you feel it's something worth doing. One piece of information that might be interesting, I'm now apparently eligible for rewards on Odyssey. I've synced my YouTube channel to my Odyssey account. So if you feel like throwing me some support, I'm not a crypto guy, so I don't really understand how their credit system works. I know that their library credit, or whatever it's called, is currently worth 2 cents a piece US. So, I mean, that's something, I guess. I haven't been using Odyssey much of late because I made a mistake of donating almost all of the credits I had to one of my friends who was a creator there. And then discovered, post hoc, of course, or post facto, whatever the proper term is, but then discovered afterwards that you need a certain number of credits to actually post a video. Oops. We all make mistakes. We all boom or something. Anyway, so you will be able to find all of my YouTube content there on Odyssey. I don't have any immediate plans to make Odyssey exclusives. And that's spelled ODYSEE.com. What else? Yeah, other than that, that's the plan for the day. I'm going to spend a significant portion of the morning making phone calls, trying to lock down a supplier for Baltic birch. If I can. If not, I will be discussing alternatives with my client, and hopefully we will be able to come to some mutually acceptable arrangement. Before anything else, woodworking is an art, and as an artist, an artisan, I will not make something that I know ahead of time is going to be subpar quality for my, holy crap, I'm just blowing the light balance right out today. But I will not make something that I know will end up being of a lower quality than I expect it to be, regardless of the client's expectations. And to be honest, part of that is professional pride, but another part of it is very much ruthless business. If I make a low quality product, I expect to be punished for it, because if you make shit, you deserve shit. Basically, think about it this way. If you were getting your house renovated, say you had someone come in and put in a set of cabinets, and this is more of a Western thing. Apparently, Europeans actually take their cabinets with them when they move quite often. Blows my mind. But what what I expect for quality production from myself is to a high enough level that when someone looks at it, they go, "Oh, that's good work." I might talk to that guy for work to get something done. But if you say get someone to come in and put in a set of cabinets, and you come back a day or two later when they're done, and you say you're making a cup of coffee, and you discover your coffee sits in the cup like this because the cabinets were put up cockeyed, or you even look at the cabinets and you can see bad fit or bad finish, then that reflects very poorly on the artisan. And it can lead to not just damage to my production or my business, it can also lead to damage to other people's business. Reputation is still very important. And if you produce bad work, you get a bad reputation. Deservedly. You deserve a bad reputation if you produce bad work. I do my damnedest never to produce bad work. Sometimes things go sideways. And especially if you're working to a deadline, which I tend to try to avoid. But if you're working to a deadline and you can meet the deadline, but you can't meet it at the same quality you expect, then you can't really meet the deadline, and you need to change something in your business. But the problem is, and we'll go back to the cabinet example, if you produce shite work, and the guy next door is also a cabinet maker, then not only have you cost yourself business, you've probably cost him business. Because if, for example, a client is the sort to drive around looking for a business to deal with, sees your business, they're going to keep on driving. They might not even notice the cabinet maker shop next door that does better work. Or potentially does better work. So yeah, that's a little bit of business there. As far as other channel news goes, I'm now able to live stream on my mobile device on YouTube, which means I can make streaming from here, from in the shed, while I'm actually working. Now, I could have done that with my laptop, but anyone who knows anything knows that a laptop and a wood shop don't really suit together. Not just because there's a lot of dust, but because, and a lot of people seem not to be aware of this, but sawdust, wood sawdust, especially the aerosolized stuff, it's potentially explosive. It's a massive fire hazard. That's why one of the very first things I say to someone is, look, your job is not done until cleanup is finished. You have to sweep your floor. You have to make sure there is not a lot of debris left around, because that stuff is a massive fire hazard. Now, do I think a laptop could potentially spark a fire? It's probably unlikely, but cutting down risks is always a good idea. Okay, take, let me see. Okay, you can see the power outlet behind me. Behind my camera, or behind my tablet rather, which is what I'm using for my camera, I have a device plugged into the wall, or into the wall outlet there, that has 2 outlets and 2 USB chargers. Now, the likelihood of something like that sparking a fire is negligible, but I always make sure it's clean. For example, if I have it left back there, that's my miter saw. That produces a shit ton of dust. Actually, you can tell that because there's still dust sitting right on top of it. But where that exhausts right onto that, you will see sawdust build up on top of those. In fact, I haven't cleaned in here in a bit, and I'm willing to bet, yeah, there's some sawdust sitting on top of that now. So one of the things I would do before I even plugged in And it's one of those things that you keep in your mind as you're going with the plug to hit that outlet. You look at the outlet. If the outlet looks like it's got a lot of sawdust on it, drop the plug, brush the sawdust down, not fling it up. If you fling it up, you're just aerosolizing it again. It's going to end up back in the same spot. Ideally, you want a vacuum or an air exchange system, a dust collection system. Small shop, can't afford it. Tobacco. But keeping your shop clean is absolutely enormously important. Let me see. I think that's it. Yeah, so come on back, I don't know, a couple hours, few hours after this is done. It'll be this afternoon, probably around 1 o'clock, 1:30. Yeah, you know, we'll do a conversational live stream as well. I like conversation. It's good to talk to people. Makes you healthy. Anyway, folks, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you continue to have a good day and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.